Namaste, namaste, and welcome to Monday Midday Chair Yoga. And this is our last class of the spring term. So today we're going to do a little bit more focus on the upper body, but only a little before we switch our focus back down to the hips again. And in this class, we're going to need the use of a belt or something to give you some length for doing shoulder flossing. So it's up and over, so you might need quite a lot of length. So a scarf would do, or a dressing gown belt, something similar. And a block. I've got these two here, which I sit with under my feet, but something that's relatively light, but also allows your hands to be far enough apart. We're going to pass this around the body in various ways. So we're going to pass it top to bottom and side round the side as well. So we'll just see how we go with this. Your red squashy ball might be a good substitute for that, or a book, relatively light book, or a cushion. Cushion's perfect. When you have your equipment gathered, please come and sit on your seats and sit towards the front of your seat so that you can organize yourself upright without the support of the chair back. Rest your hands wherever they're comfortable and simply close your eyes, or gaze downwards if you prefer. Give yourself this moment to arrive in your yoga space, stepping away from everything else that's going on around you. Stepping into this time and place for yoga. Notice how your body feels in this moment, any physical sensations across the body, any conversations your body is trying to have with you. Notice what it's saying and working with compassion in any areas that feel stiff or tight or closed or uncomfortable. Notice at least one part of the body that feels peaceful, spacious, and at ease. Notice your breath in this moment. Observe your natural, spontaneous breath. Is your breath different today than it has been the last few times you noticed it? When you're ready, you can begin to deepen your breath. As you exhale, allow a gentle engagement across the navel, drawing the navel to the spine to exhale fully, and then soften the belly to breathe into the sides of the body, the back and the chest. And exhaling long and slow and deep, engaging across the navel to exhale completely. Soften the belly to breathe into the rib cage, the collarbones, the shoulder blades. Exhaling long and slow and deep, engaging to exhale completely. Breathing a few more rounds like this, feeling the breath lift you tall, create space for that breath to rush into. And the slow ebb of the breath leaving the body. At the end of your next exhalation, allow your breath to fall into its natural rhythm and allow your chin to come towards your chest. Feel that gentle length down the back of the neck between the shoulder blades, and in your own time, smiling, raising your head and opening your eyes. Wonderful stuff. Let's give our shoulders a little roll. So we are going to stand up to do the next part of our practice, but you could easily do this sitting down. So don't feel obliged if you're feeling a bit tired or if you just like that added security of maintaining your seat. But for those who are comfortable, we'll come up to standing, and I'm just going to pop these two blocks onto my seat I always move my chair a bit out of the way. And we will begin our practice proper with Kati Chakrasana. So heavy into the feet, letting the weight drop into them, feeling that your your weight is evenly distributed, and then firm into the belly, just enough of a lift to feel that you're tall, and gently twisting from side to side. And as you twist here, noticing if you can soften the shoulders readily, if your head naturally follows the movements, if you can allow your arms, to wrap your body and tap your body. And notice if it feels easing to move in this way, to allow some of that postural tension in the back of the body to be released. When you're ready, if you'd like to, you can gently pivot on your toes. And if that feels good, you can add a soft bend in the knees. So bending in the center and twisting, dip and twist, or bounce and twist. Still engaging through the belly just enough to provide that support. You can touch the opposite shoulder in front of you and the opposite hip behind, allowing the arms and the hands to travel away from the body in between. When you're ready, you can release your bounce, simply pivot, and then bring your feet to stillness and sway back to center. As you come to the center, standing really tall, lifting your shoulders up, taking them back and dropping them down, and then adjusting the position of your head. So when your shoulders are a bit slumpy, your head tends to be a bit forward. As we stand tall, let's do it again, lifting the shoulders up, taking them back, taking them down, and then just adjusting the head so that the head is lifted over the body. We're going to do some neck movements from here. So gently taking the right ear to the right shoulder, and then returning to center and left ear to left shoulder. Going up and over in between, always bringing yourself back to that neutral, lifted position. Left ear to left shoulder. And then this time we're going to come over to the right and hold here. And it might be enough to simply be here, or you might like to press your left palm to the floor to create a larger sense of space. Then you might like to lift gently your chin and lower your chin, as if you were slowly nodding yes. Let's do 3 lifts and lowers. Notice the sensations in the neck, the shoulders, and the chest. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to that neutral side spot. Relax your left hand. Bring your head back to center. Give the shoulders a little roll. Maybe gently look up and down. And then in the center, we're going to lift the shoulders, take them back, take them down, adjust the head to be centered, and then left ear to left shoulder. Just noticing here, as we work to the opposite side, if it feels differently. This feels a little tighter to me today, but if you need to, you can press your right palm to the floor to further increase that sense of space. And then for anyone who'd like to, you can lift your chin and lower your chin. Just take care not to move through any resistance in the body. Meet the resistance and move away from it, back in the opposite direction. Third, lift and lower. And then bringing your head back to that neutral side bend. Relax the right side. Bring your head back to center. Make any movements that feel good. Maybe a few rolls and chin lifts and lowers. I'm going to take this jumper off. I had it on because I got so cold in the first class. We were doing yin yoga, which is very static. So apologies. Just toss it to one side, and then we'll be ready to carry on with our practice. So I'd like to just go through a couple of things that we can do across the shoulders. But before we get there, I really want to make sure the shoulders are nicely warmed. So we're going to start by turning the palms of the hands backwards and allowing the arms to come back behind the body. So it's like a really soft hand, and we're just reaching the hands back. The back is the important thing. So how far the arms come forward is not important. They can swing as high as you like, but it's the back motion that really is important here. So as you take your hands back and your arms back, you might feel an opening across the chest. You might begin to feel a sense of space. I actually feel this down the tops of my arms mostly, but more on one side than the other where I've had an old injury. This is said to be very good for boosting your immune system because this practice pumps our lymphatic system in a way that it doesn't normally get pumped. So our lymphatic system doesn't have a pump of its own like our circulatory system does with our heart. And all of our muscular movements are what moves our lymph around the body. And the lymph is so important to our immune system. So movements like this can be very useful. Okay, so when you're ready, you can just allow your arms to rest down into the center and just take a moment to feel the effect of your practice, wriggle anything out that needs wriggling. And then we're going to take the fingertips onto the shoulders and draw the elbows towards each other and up in front of the body. And then move the elbows back as far as you feel comfortable, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other and down. Nice big circles. You can work up to big if big isn't coming to you naturally first thing in the practice. And if you feel inclined, you can allow your head to move as your shoulders move, but only if that feels like a really natural thing to do. Let's do one more in this direction. And this is the important direction. Then we're going to go the opposite way. Same principle, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other as the elbows come back, and drawing the elbows towards each other as perhaps the chin comes forward, as they come together in front of the body. They don't have to meet, but if you aim in that direction, you'll be working in a way that's suitable. Let's do one more in this direction. And relaxing the arms down to the side, giving the shoulders a little bit of a shrug. Aces. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do in our little practice that we've got for the upper back and chest, that's really specific for this practice, is something called a wing flap. So for this, we're going to place the hands onto the back with the palms facing away from the body. And then we simply flap our wings at the sides. So this movement is quite rapid. It doesn't have to be super rapid, but it's quite rapid. And we're just seeing how it feels in the body. You might want to do this for a few moments and then adjust the position of your hands to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower and just see what that does. So it's trying to find a place that feels good to work. I find it really difficult to do this really fluttery. But if you can flutter a little bit more so you look a bit more graceful than I do, then that would be great. Super stuff. Going to do about 5 or 10 more. And then relax. And relax the arms down. Just give yourself a little roll of the shoulders, maybe just a tense and release across the hands or a shake out of the wrists. And then we're going to take the arms nice and wide, around about shoulder height. And you will notice as you work, if you lift your arms above shoulder height, the effort all comes lower into the body, sort of underneath the shoulders into the upper back. And if you take your arms lower than shoulder height, the effort is all above the shoulders into the neck. So we're trying to work in a place that's quite neutral to keep the effort across the shoulders themselves. So here, we're going to turn the palms up and turn the palms down. So we're rolling the whole arm Try to avoid softening your elbow too much. A little softness is good, but not really bending in the elbows. Super. Rolling backwards and forwards. We're going to do about, say, 10 more of these, there or thereabouts. We're not really counting. If you get fatigued before that, feel free to release. Try not to do things that increase a sense of tension or to a point of discomfort. Lovely job. Let's do one more. And then we're going to float the arms down to the side for a little rest. And usually it's only as you release, you notice how much effort you've been making. So giving your shoulders a nice roll, and maybe we'll sort of counter that movement with a little backwards and forwards. So drawing the backs of the hands towards each other to reach the fingertips away, chin to chest, scoop the belly in, and then drawing the arms wide, maybe turning the palms open, lifting the chest, rounding through the spine, reaching the fingertips away, and then drawing the arms back, slightly different from our normal action, turning the palms up. Let's reach the arms down to the side. Give yourself a jiggling, dancing shoulder in both directions. And we'll come back to these wide-armed shoulder rotations. But this time we're going to turn one palm up and one palm down, and then alternate. So we're making opposite movements with both sides of the body. And if you're able to start this in a relative stillness across the upper body, then that's great. So you're making as much of that movement with the arms and isolated into the shoulders as is possible, reaching the hands as far around as feels comfortable. And then you can allow your upper back to join in. So a little roll of the shoulders, perhaps a little undulation through the chest and the upper back. Still reaching the fingertips away from you to keep that breadth across the upper body as well. Super. And then come back, if you can, to that stillness in the upper body and just moving in the shoulders and arms. And then when you're ready, floating your arms down to your side, giving yourself a little wriggle, anything that feels good in this moment. We're going to do another couple of rounds of that movement with the breath. So reaching the backs of the hands towards each other, chin to chest, scoop the belly in. And this time as you stand tall, draw your elbows back to open your chest, reach your arms wide, lift your chin, turn your palms upwards. One more like this, rounding through the upper back, backs of the hands towards each other, reaching the fingertips away. And then standing tall, elbows back, arms back, chest lifted. And float your arms down to your side, give yourself a little wiggle. Oh, I'm sure that your upper body is beginning to feel like it's done a lot of work. We'll try our next movement. So we're going to bring our hands into prayer position, but this time we're going to take that prayer position to that space behind the back of the neck. And if you can, bringing your elbows even further up and back to the space in between the shoulder blades and the upper back. So here what we want to avoid is dropping our heads forwards or curving the back to be able to do this. So trying to keep the elbows back as much as possible, bending from the elbows with the palms together. And you can widen your elbows if it helps to get there, but when you get there, try to bring them into a more narrow shape. So the forearms perhaps hug the back of the head a touch. Now, this is I find this quite a strong position, so don't worry if you're a little bit higher up. It's okay if your elbows are a little bit wider, or if you prefer, you can try this with a block. So holding the block in its middle setting, so not its widest setting, its middle setting, you can do the same thing where you bring the elbows up and bring the hands down. If that feels comfortable working there, you can turn the block onto its narrowest setting and do the same thing. And that additional space between the hands might give you just a little bit more length to be able to bring the arms into this position. Try to avoid, where possible, overarching your back. So keep a little bit of engagement through the belly muscles, keeping the elbows back and down, trying to keep the head in a neutral position. taking one more deep breath in and out, and then releasing from wherever you are, placing down support if you can use support, and give your shoulders a little roll. Oh, feels good. Feels good. So we are going to move into our shoulder flossing, which we have done quite a few times this term with the belt. And we want to, here we normally do this 3 times nice and slow. We're going to do 1 slow and then do it a little bit more rapidly. But you don't have to, you can do it as you choose. So the belt is the width of your body apart, with the hands on the belt. And then the shoulders are dropping back and down. So you can roll your shoulders, your chest open, and then lifting your hands forward and just to wherever you naturally get to with that belt. When you meet resistance in the body, breathe in and lift your shoulders up as you stretch your arms. Breathe out as you draw your shoulders back down. You might notice you've already got a bit more room. And if you can, move into the next bit of space. From there, when you meet resistance, breathe in to lift, breathe out to lower. Maybe there's a bit more space, or maybe you widen your hands on the belt. Meet your resistance, breathe in to lift the shoulders, breathe out to lower them down, and move into the space that you create. If you meet resistance, you might need to widen your hands, that's okay. Breathe in to lift, breathe out to lower, move into the space, widening your hands as you need to. And keep going with that movement of lifting, lowering, and moving, widening your hands if you need to, lifting, lowering, moving, until you can, nice and easy with long straight arms, bring the belt down behind your body. And as you come to the bottom of the movement, just relaxing the shoulders, relaxing across the back, noticing if you have any pinching sensations. Usually that means you've overstretched, so taking that into account on the second side, and then widening the belt on both hands so that you can easily reach up and over to come back the way. Excellent. So trying to bring the hands together again, close, but maybe not as close this time. So you're starting a little wider, reaching up and back, just seeing where you get to, wherever you get to, widening the hands and just bringing the belt down behind the body. So it's a bit more rapid than working with the breath, but also good. Same thing, coming back up and over, widening the hands before you do so if you need to. And then that might give you an idea of where you can easily go up and over with the belt, just in one smooth movement. So what we want to avoid is any pinching sensations, any clonking, any one shoulder and then the other. At the same time, we're keeping the arms nice and long. And we'll maybe do one more backwards and forwards. Very good. Aces. And then releasing your hands from the belt, just placing the belt to one side, maybe giving your hands interlacing the fingers and rolling through the wrists a couple of times in each direction, and releasing out, releasing out anything that needs releasing out. Just seeing if you're beginning to feel a bit more open, if there's a sense of having been able to release some tension. If that isn't, it's okay, it's not a problem at all. Our next practice is Gomukhasana with a block. So passing the block in a Gomukhasana way, but we're going to prepare by passing the block around the center of the body first. So in this, we have the block in front of us. I'm going to take the block around the back of my body with the left hand, pass it into my right hand, and then bring it round to the front of the body with my right hand. So a simple passing of the block around the body is quite low. It's around about the hips or the waist. And just trying to stand nice and tall and notice if that feels okay, if it feels easy, if it feels like there's parts that are a bit of a stretch, or if you feel a bit of tension. When you're ready, going in the opposite direction. So passing the block from the right hand to the left hand behind the body, or reversing whichever way you had been doing it. Again, trying to stand nice and tall. Just allowing that movement to happen. Sort of, it's not passive chest opening, but it opens the chest, opens the upper back as well. When you're ready, taking a rest, maybe resting your block somewhere so that you can wriggle through your shoulders, every direction that counts. And then we're going to do the same practice, but this time it's diagonal. So I'm going to start with the block in my left hand. I'm going to reach it up and then go off the camera completely. Bend my left elbow and catch that block behind the body with my right hand, she says. And then move it around in front of the body. We'll do the same side again. So bending the left elbow to catch the block with the right hand. And if a block isn't big enough, try it with a cushion. So bending the left elbow, catch it with the right hand. And that's us done 3. We'll do 2 more. Bend the left elbow, catch with the right hand. Very nice. Last one. Left hand to right hand. Wonderful. Roll out the shoulders. We do the same thing with the opposite side. So we're reaching the right arm up, bending at the right hand. This is my stiff side, catching hold of the block with the left hand. Just manage that, no worries. Okay, and then reaching the right hand up, catching the block with the left hand behind the body. Sometimes it just takes you a few goes to get the coordination just right. So it's difficult to know what's happening behind the body. We're not used to accounting for the position of our bodies, catching things behind the body. Maybe you were a superstar with a tennis ball and did some juggling acts when you were young. I definitely didn't. And then one more like this, reaching up with the right hand, catching with the left hand. To say, I found that really toughy. And then placing that block down, just giving yourself a little roll through the shoulders. And we're going to finish this practice, this part of the practice, by taking the hands behind the body and trying to hold either finger to finger, wrist to wrist, forearm to forearm, or if you can, or she says, just about elbow to elbow. And here, rolling the shoulder blades down the back to open the chest. And I've got my left arm on top of my right arm, but just making note of which way around you are, because we will do it also the other way around as well. Here, if it feels comfortable, you might plant your feet, firm your buttocks, and give yourself a little gentle openness in the front of the body, and then come back to center. So nice and firm, belly and buttocks. The shoulders are already rolled towards each other, open to look up and down, maybe just one more. Reaching up with the front of the body and back to center. We'll relax the arms from where they are. My shoulder here, I injured it many years ago, and it doesn't really like doing any of that sort of thing, but it's fine, we'll manage. And so our next ones, that was for me, left on top of right, so we want to do it the opposite way. So drawing the arms towards each other, either reaching for the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, whatever it might be. And then rolling the shoulder blades towards each other and down, opening your chest. And if you wish to, you can plant your feet, firm the belly and the buttocks, and just take 3 gentle openings of the chest. And it's really the whole length of the front of the body. Press your big toes down into the floor as well. Last one. Lovely. And back to center, relaxing the arms. Oh, giving yourself a good wiggle and release out. Super stuff, guys. So hopefully you're feeling nice and mobile across the shoulders, the chest, and the upper back. And if you were aiming for, if you were finding that a useful thing to do in your practice, then please include it. It's a really nice thing to do if you sit a lot or if you do a lot of movement in front of the body. So we're going to take our chairs today and do a variation. It's not really of down dog, it's really of bird dog. So this would be something done on hands and knees in a mat class. We're going to do it with our hands on the chair seat and our feet on the floor. So here, coming to place your hands on your chair seat, as wide apart as you're able to on the chair seat. So if you've got a really narrow chair, it's sometimes useful to use two chairs so that you can get your hands around about shoulder width apart. A little closer is not a problem at all, but it's just to give you that option. So, and then we want the feet to be underneath the hips so that we can soften the knees and just stick our tailbones out a little bit to create a little bit of space and length in the back itself. And here we'll begin with cat-cow pose. So we're going to gently draw the shoulder blades down the back to open the chest as we look forward. There might be a gentle tip of the tailbone upwards as well. And then round through the spine, tucking the chin under and moving perhaps the hips and the shoulders towards each other, scooping the belly in. Inhaling as we come forward, gliding the shoulder blades down. Exhaling as we round under. Scooping up, pressing the floor away from us, the chair away from us. Inhaling forward. Exhaling as we round under. And we're going to do one more like that. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, rounding under. Come back to a neutral spot, and in the neutral spot, still in this bent over position, soft in the knees, we're just going to sway the hips from side to side. And if you want to, you can sway your hip and shoulder together on each side of the body. So you get a nice sort of side length, stretch, release, but with the belly muscles nice and lifted. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, we're going to reverse our breath in cat pose. So instead of inhaling forward, we're going to exhale forward. So start from neutral, inhaling here. And as you exhale, lift your chest and chin, glide your shoulder blades down your back. And as you inhale, round through your spine, tuck your tail under, scoop your belly in, press the chair away from you. Exhaling forwards. Inhaling as you round. Exhaling forwards. Inhaling as you round. Very nice. Let's do just one more. Exhaling forward. And inhaling, scooping, lifting, above the jaw. Coming back to the center, and still with our hands in this position, we're going to roll our bodies in a skipping rope fashion. It's called a barrel roll. So you're imagining, well, you can sassy cat, you can move your hips and shoulders in any different direction, just so that your spine is undulating between the two. And then wherever you're going, go in the opposite direction. I really love this movement. It's how we move in real life. Just make sure that your head moves as well, so that your neck is not held rigid. And then we've been in this position for quite a while. So let's come out of this position. We're going to bend our knees deeply, reach the hands forward and just stand tall. Allow the arms to rest down to the sides. Roll your shoulders as much as they need, and just find any movements that release through the body. So we did a lot of preparation for the upper body, which means that you would have had a little bit more movement through the upper body than perhaps is normal if we don't make those preparations. So bear that in mind. If you find that your wrists don't enjoy having some weight on them, then you can come back to using the chair back for this next practice. And it would be a down dog in fact, you know what, we'll all do that. Why not? Why not? So we're going to turn the chair around and it's just to give us the option, really, isn't it? It's nice to do things in different orientations. And so if you want to do this sort of practice with a chair seat in the future, have a go, why not? So we're going to come into more of a down dog type of position. And we're going to stand tall, reach the arms nice and wide to open the chest, and then fold forward from our feet, bending the knees from the hips, sorry, not from the feet, reaching for the chair itself, and then allowing a sense of length down the sides of the body, and maybe tipping the tailbone up ever so slightly to create length in the whole of the spine. Here we want to avoid dropping the head between the arms, but keeping it centered between the arms is fine. Above is okay as well, if that's where you're at, no worries at all. A little lift in the belly muscles here, and we can, with the feet there, maybe just slightly wider than hip width apart, just gently sway the hips from side to side. When you're ready, you can bring your feet back towards each other and step back with your left leg. So the left toes are on the floor, and all we're going to do is slide the toes in, maybe lift the knee towards the chest, and then slide the toes out again. So really working into that right leg, that right knee is bent in the supporting leg, just sliding in and out, nice and firm in the belly. We've done 3 on that side. We're going to do 3 on the opposite side. Slide the right toes back, and then sliding the toes in, maybe lifting the knee slightly towards the chest, sliding the toes back out again. Keeping that left knee a little bit soft, so we're supporting the leg with the muscles, not hanging on the joints, and then stepping onto both feet. We're going to take a break from this position by walking the feet forward as we stand tall. And it's quite nice to come out of that because it is stronger in the shoulders than you realize when you're holding for a sustained period of time. Rolling in your shoulders, just giving yourself any wiggles that need wiggling. And then we'll come into this downward dog position just one more time to do a little bit of leg lifting as well. So for anyone who wants to just keep their toes on the floor behind them, that's absolutely fine. We can start with the hands on the chair this time and walk the feet backwards instead of folding forwards into the pose. And the feet are, as I said before, nice, quite close together. They don't need to be touching, of course. Make your upper body strong. Press your arms into your chair back and slide your left leg back. So here we want to keep really strong through the core and then just gently lift the left leg up and lower down. Still pressing into the hands, gentle lift and lower. You don't have to get very high. You do have to engage your belly muscles and your buttock muscles. And we're going to do, that was 3 with a straight leg. Now we're going to bend our knees and lift the knee, the heel up behind us. And then the knee can come a little bit more forward. Lift the heel up behind, knee a little bit more forward than just straight. One more time, heel up, knee forward, and then step onto both feet. Now, as you come to work to the opposite side, remember there are options of doing the same movement that we did before with the toe on the ground, sliding in and out as an alternative. Sliding the right foot back, we're gently lifting that leg and lowering, firm in the belly and the buttocks, lifting and lower, straight leg to begin with, lifting and lower. Then we're bending that leg at the knee and lifting the right heel up and then drawing the knee forward underneath the body a bit. Lifting the right heel up and drawing the knee forward. Last one, lifting the right heel up and drawing the knee forward, and then standing onto both legs. We're going to gently bend the knees, give the hips a little bit of a wiggle, and then walk forward to the chair to stand tall and relax the arms. I don't know if it's what I did immediately before this class or not, but that feels really strong through not only the lower body, but the upper body as well. So give yourself a little shrug out of anything that needs shrugging, and we can do any easing movements here that feel good before we come to sitting on our seats. So we are going to move into relaxation, but not immediately. So placing your belts to one side and come to sitting on your seat again. And here, I'm going to have my blocks ready to put my feet onto, but maybe not use them immediately. So as we come to sitting, want to sit nice and tall and just have that sense of being able to let go of tension across the shoulders a little bit. Take our arms wide, cross the left arm over the right arm and just hold onto the shoulders. We're trying to get the arms as far round as possible. Let the elbows be heavy across the body. And then maybe just a little chin to chest action, not super much, but just a little bit forward. Take a couple of deep breaths. Feel that space between the shoulder blades. Soften, release, create space there as you breathe in and out. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So sitting tall, reach the arms wide, and then take the right arm over the left arm. Hold onto your shoulders, work your fingertips as far around as possible. Let your elbows be heavy here. Little forward movement of the head, and then 2 deep breaths. And then sitting tall again, we're going to reach the arms nice and wide. And we're going to take the hands behind the body and hold onto the chair back or the chair seat as you choose. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other. Bring your elbows closer towards each other with a little softness in the elbows if you can. Press into your feet and lift your chest. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Maybe 2 more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. 1 more. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Relaxing the arms here. We're going to take the hands in front of the body and cross the arms over. So you've got the right arm over the left, but on the knees. And have your knees relatively far apart, as far as your arm crossing allows, and have your buttocks on your seat as much as feels possible. And then we're gently going to slide the hands down the legs towards the floor. They don't have to go all the way, but if you do, that's fine. Relax the back of your neck. And then hold onto your ankles or your shins or your feet and gently pull on the arms to give yourself a little extra release in the back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. We're going to come up by pressing into the floor with our feet, sliding our arms up, taking the arms around the body. So up, around the body, and back behind the body and down. Then we're going to cross the arms the opposite way. So we've got the left on top of the right, reaching for the knees first. Slide all the way down your chair into a forward bend. All the way down your chair, all the way down your legs. Relax the back of your neck. Maybe give a gentle pull on your arms to get that sense of engaged length across the upper back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Pressing into your feet. Relax the pull as you come up to sitting upright, and then reach the arms up around the body and down to the sides of the body. Take a moment here to soften the shoulders. We're going to bring the feet and the knees completely together. So we want to press the toes together, the ankles, the knees, the thighs, and sitting tall, take a little twist here. So arms are reaching away from the body, left hand to the right thigh, right hand behind you to hold on to the chair, back or seat, and then using the leverage of your arms to just soften the shoulders, roll the shoulder blades back and down, and turn to the right. Here, keep the legs working towards each other, stabilizing in the pelvis. Keep lifting into the crown of the head. Keep the shoulder blades working towards each other as well. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Turn to the front with only your head. Then release your hands, unwind your spine, turn a little to the opposite side, and back to the center. Same thing to the other side. Sitting tall, legs together, arms reaching wide, right hand to left thigh, left hand behind you to chair back or chair seat. Roll the shoulder blades towards each other, create that sense of lift in the body, and then using the arms, twist to the left. Here, don't forget to move your legs towards each other. Try not to relax the knees apart. Lift in the belly, lift in the crown of the head, softening the shoulders down. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. When you're ready, you can turn to look at the front with your head. Release your hands, unwind your spine, turn a little to the opposite side and back to center. Very good. And now we're going to move into our relaxation. So please put on any extra layers, gather your blankets, make ready with blocks for underneath the feet if you need them. As we have moved through the later parts of this term, we've really focused more on heart space practice than I'd intended, actually. This is just sort of a natural evolution of week-to-week classes. But it's been a really nice evolution. And I hope that you've enjoyed it in this time just before the Easter holes. Oh, there we go. I'm really wrapping up warm today. I've got every layer possible known to man. Not really, but there we go. So do make sure that you feel that you're warm across your upper back. Because we've worked with that area so much during class, it's nice to keep it warm as we do relaxation. Helps it to release a little better. I normally wear a scarf as a result of needing to keep this area nice and warm. Wrapping yourself up in your blanket. If you've got a hard seat like me, you might want to tuck it underneath you a little bit, or tuck it behind you to protect yourself against the hard chair back. We're going to settle back into our seats. Feels good. And as we do that, we use the chair and the support under the thighs, underneath the back of the body, to really have a sense of being able to let go of some of that postural effort we've been making. And that's one of the reasons why sitting like this all of the time is not good for us. So sitting away from a chair back, allowing your body to use effort that it's designed for making to allow you to sit tall is a great thing to do during your day. But when you need to, relaxing back. Resting your hands wherever feels comfortable. And when you feel ready, closing your eyes. Take this moment to move into the relaxation part of our practice. So we are drawing a line under movement, under effort. We're moving towards stillness. We're moving towards softness. Take a deep breath in and sigh through your mouth as you exhale. Repeating 3 more times. A deep breath in, feel all of your effort go as you exhale. Deep breath in, let your muscles begin to relax as you exhale. A deep breath in and surrender your weight back and down as you exhale. Allow your breath to find its natural rhythm and fall into quietness. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften. Feel that space between the eyebrows spreading and separating. Feel the area around the eyes releasing. Your mouth, tongue, and jaw relaxing. Allow this sense of softness, heaviness, relaxation to be all over the head, the top of the scalp, the back of the head, the sides of the head, around the ears, where the back of the head joins the neck. The back of the neck, sides of the neck, the throat. Allow the whole of the head and the neck to feel heavy, warm, releasing and relaxing. Move your awareness into your chest, shoulders, upper back. Allow the arms to be heavy. The elbows, wrists and fingers softening. The palm of the hands holding space, holding lightness, but resting heavily into the body. The whole of the arms softening, releasing, relaxing down. Allow that feeling of softness to travel over the chest, the abdomen, the rib cage, the waist, the sides of the body, the upper back, the space between the shoulder blades, the back of the rib cage, back of the waist, the low back. Allow the whole of the torso to feel heavy, soft, releasing and relaxing down. Move your awareness into your hips and your pelvis. Become aware of the groins at the front of the body, the hips at the side of the body, the buttocks at the back of the body. Allow the whole of the hips and the pelvis to feel heavy, softening, releasing and relaxing down. Draw your awareness into your legs. Feel your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet and toes. Allow the whole of the legs, the feet, the toes to feel heavy, softening, releasing and relaxing down. The whole body relaxing. The whole body releasing down. The whole body heavy. The whole body relaxing. Gently begin to deepen your breath and bring your awareness back into your hands and your feet, moving your fingers, wiggling your toes, maybe rolling the wrists and the ankles a few times. Apologies for the clicking at this end. A few times in each direction. When you feel ready, you can take a deeper breath in and stretch the body in any way that feels good, maybe. Oh, to stretch the face. Oh. You might like to stretch over to one side and then the other, nice sort of side bending. Or you might just simply lengthen your arms and legs. When you're ready, you might like to gently turn your head from side to side, or perhaps as well, dropping the chin towards the chest, just feeling that gentle sense of length, exploring how the upper back feels now. When you're ready, you can raise your head. I'm going to place the hands across the heart center and just give ourselves this opportunity for thanks. So we're thanking ourselves for taking the time, making the space, giving ourselves this last hour of awesomeness, which will help us through this week and the things that are ahead in our day as well. When you feel ready, you can bring your palms together, lift your chest, take your chin only towards your chest. Feel again that sense of length, smiling to release any tension from the front of the body. When you're ready, you're raising your head, opening your eyes, releasing your hands. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice and for this whole term. In fact, it's been really wonderful practicing yoga with you, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. Please do join me again after the holidays, and we'll embrace the summer term with invigorating practice of summer. Namaste.